This is USA News Hub, United States, the heart of American sports. Subscribe for power, passion, and champions. What if the comeback of the tournament is followed by the ultimate reality check? After stunning a 45-year-old Venus Williams with one of the most dramatic turnarounds at the 2026 Australian Open, Olga Danilovic now faces the biggest challenge of her career, American number 1 Coco Gauff. Momentum versus mastery. Confidence versus consistency. A fearless underdog versus one of the most complete players in women's tennis. So, can Danilovic shock the world again, or will Gauff shut the door fast? Let's break it all down. United States Coco Gauff versus Serbia Olga Danilovic. Australian Open 2026 preview. Wednesday's second-round clash at Melbourne Park brings together two players entering the match on very different emotional trajectories. On one side, right arrow Coco Gauff, world number 3. Right arrow two-time Grand Slam champion. Right arrow American number 1. Right arrow a player who has made deep runs in Australia every year since 2023 on the other. Right arrow Olga Danilovic, world number 69. Right arrow coming off a career-defining comeback. Right arrow never lost a first-round match at the Australian Open. Right arrow riding momentum, but facing elite resistance. Tennis tournament so far. Coco Gauff. Coco Gauff's opening match against Kamila Rakimova was not perfect, but it was clinical. Bar chart first-round result. Coco Gauff def. Kamila Rakimova 6-2, 6-3. Despite committing 7 double faults in just under 100 minutes, Gauff never truly looked threatened. The most telling statistic: backhand index pointing right 75% of second serve return points won. That number tells you everything. Even when her own serve wavered, Gauff punished Rakimova's second serve relentlessly, stepping inside the baseline and dictating play early in rallies. This is the mark of a mature top player, finding ways to dominate even when execution isn't flawless. Chart increasing Gauff's Australian Open consistency. Coco Gauff has quietly become one of the most reliable performers at the season's first Grand Slam. Here's her recent record in Melbourne. Crossmark 2022, first-round loss, last early exit. Repeat button 2023, fourth round. Fire 2024, semifinals. Flexed biceps 2025, quarterfinals. White heavy check mark 2026, already into round 2. She now owns a 17-6 career record at the Australian Open and is chasing her 18th victory to reach the third round. And short, she doesn't lose early anymore. Serbia tournament so far. Olga Danilovic. If Coco Gauff's first round was steady and professional, Olga Danilovic's was emotional chaos, in the best way possible. Bar chart first round result. Olga Danilovic def. Venus Williams 6-7, 5, 6-3, 6-4. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement of resilience. Face screaming in fear, one of the comebacks of AO 2026. Danilovic was down 1 set, trailing 4-0 in the third, facing a 7-time Grand Slam champion. Up against history. Venus Williams, at 45 years and 7 months, looked set to become the oldest woman ever to win a main draw match at this event. But Danilovic refused to panic. She, heavy check mark, cleaned up her errors. Heavy check mark, extended rallies. Heavy check mark, attacked Venus movement. Heavy check mark, won 6 of the last 7 games. Final score 6-7, 5, 6-3, 6-4. It was the kind of match that can change a player's belief system overnight. Bar chart Danilovic at the Australian Open. Danilovic's relationship with Melbourne Park has been quietly impressive. Point 2021, second round. 2025, round of 16. 2026, second round, minimum. She now holds 5-2 overall AO record. 71.4% win rate at the Australian Open. Never lost a first-round match here. Confidence matters, but context matters more. United States Danilovic versus American players. An interesting subplot in this matchup is Danilovic's recent success against American opponents in 2026. Heavy check mark defeated McCartney Kessler, Hobart. Heavy check mark defeated Peyton Stearns, Hobart. Heavy check mark defeated Venus Williams, AO. She's now won 3 straight matches against Americans this season. However, backhand index pointing right, her only loss to an American in the last year came at Wimbledon against Madison Keys. Which brings us to the key question. Crossed swords head-to-head. First time meeting. Coco Gauff versus Olga Danilovic. Right arrow first ever meeting. Right arrow head-to-head starts at 0-0, but historical trends favor the American heavily. Danilovic is 0-3 versus top 10 players in the last 52 weeks. Only 3 career wins versus top 10 opponents. Notably, heavy checkmark 2 of those wins came against Americans, Madison Keys and Danielle Collins. Still, Coco Gauff represents a different level of physicality and consistency. Magnifying glass tilted left matchup analysis. Why Gauff holds the edge. Keycap 1 left-hander advantage. For Gauff. Danilovic is a left-handed player, but that may actually work against her. Gauff's record versus left-handers. 14 wins in her last 15 matches. 20-5 overall across all tours. Gauff reads lefty patterns exceptionally well and neutralizes wide serves with elite footwork. Keycap 2 return game gap. Danilovic relies heavily on first serve accuracy, short points, early aggression. But Gauff's return game is one of the best in women's tennis, especially against second serves. That 75% return points won stat from round 1 isn't an accident. Keycap 3 mental stability. Danilovic showed incredible fight against Venus, but Coco Gauff rarely gives opponents emotional openings. She. Heavy check mark holds leads. Heavy check mark responds quickly to breaks. Heavy check mark keeps scoreboard pressure constant against top players. Danilovic has struggled to sustain belief over 2 full sets. Brain what Gauff needs to watch out for. This isn't a guaranteed walkover. Danilovic can be dangerous if she swings freely. Gauff starts slow. Crowd momentum shifts. Her heavy lefty forehand crosscourt could test Gauff's backhand early. But over time, Gauff's speed and depth should wear her down. Trophy prediction. We say Coco Gauff to win in 2 sets. Why? Heavy check mark superior return game. Heavy check mark better movement. Heavy check mark strong track record versus left-handers. Heavy check mark greater Grand Slam experience score projection. Right arrow 6-4, 6-3 or 6-3, 6-3. Gauff's consistency should outweigh Danilovic's momentum. Olga Danilovic deserves massive credit for her opening round comeback. But Coco Gauff is the type of opponent who turns fairy tales into reality checks. If Gauff plays within herself, stays patient, and continues attacking second serves, she should book a place in the 3rd round, where Storm Hunter or Haley Baptiste will be waiting. Make sure you subscribe to USA News Hub United States. More breaking news. More powerful stories. More champions. Coming your way. See you soon.